our main event topic this week is going to be a lot of fun to discuss. It shouldn't take us as long as our last two reviews, but we are talking about the brand new Willie Nelson album, which is called The Border. And The Border is Willie Nelson's 152nd studio album.
That's nuts. Nuts.
Absolutely crazy to even think about that. Like, the man is, 91 years old. Can we try to figure out how much of that 91 years was spent in the studio?
I don't even care about that. I want to know how long he has spent with a pen and paper or pencil and paper.
I
That's what
can't
I want to know.
I can't even imagine. Now this his last album before this one was called Bluegrass, which was a phenomenal record, by the way. And that was an obvious ode to Kentucky. This one has taken a sharp right and has led us to Texas. And this album is firmly planted in the state of Texas, which of course is Willie's home state. Now, for me personally, I've seen a lot of criticism over his voice not being what it once was in this record.
They can shut the hell up. Anyway,
Not, can we try to remember? He's 91. If you're criticizing a 91-year-old man for singing,
you know what? And if you don't like his voice, really, it's storytelling.
mm-hmm.
You know?
And man, I can't wait to get into these songs. I've been listening to this record all week, and it's all right. So Katie and I have talked about Taylor Swift. We've talked about Billie Eilish. We've talked about other records for East Texas artists like Heather Little and Nick Brumley and Blacktop Mojo. We've talked about Post Profit. Talked about Walter Lee, and we have been honest to a fault when it comes to these songs. If we like it, we'll tell you. If we don't like it, we'll tell you. Personally speaking, there is not a single song on this record I dislike.
I agree.
I don't know about you.
I love all of it. I really do. It's hard not to with Willie, but man, it's like I said, it's storytelling and it's all stories, and it's a nonstop book I could listen to forever. You know what I mean?
And the first song is the title track of the record. It is called The Border. And this song is an old-fashioned ballad. Now, you remember back in the day, this is way before both of our times.
I was about to say I don't, but
way before both of our times, there was a man named Marty Robbins. And Marty Robbins, yep, he was the king of the gunfighter ballad. And this song reminds me of that style of ballad. This song was written by Rodney Crowell and Alan Shamlin. In fact, the song was recorded first by Rodney Crowell. And this is actually a cover song by Willie. That's right, a cover song. The ballad is of a border control agent. The song starts with a war, which I find very interesting. We start with one of the first lyrics on the album or on the song is "There's a price on every border patrol," talking about the fact that there is a price on the head of all of those folks that keep us safe. But it also ends with empathy. And this lyric really grabs me with how much truth is in it. From the shacks and the shanties come the hungry and poor, some to drown at the crossing, some to suffer no more.
I loved it, man. I looked up all these lyrics to every single song, and I'm not like you need to. You can understand every word he says, but man, this whole album is just I mean, Willie Nelson is never gonna die ever.
He better not. He better not.
If this is his last work that he ever say he just stops doing music or like stops recording, this is a good way to end.
And there's definitely a song on here that I want to talk about with that very thought in mind, but we're not there yet. The second song on the album is the first Willie Nelson Buddy Cannon collab. It's called Once Upon a Yesterday. Now, if you're not familiar, man, Willie Nelson and Buddy Cannon have been writing songs together for, way before Katie and I ever existed. So That is a collab that is at least probably 50 years in the making. Buddy Cannon is an absolute legend when it comes to songwriting. Same as Willie, same as a couple of other folks that wrote songs on this record as well. And I want to give them their props because if you get a song picked by Willie frickin' Nelson for
Yep.
his record, you bet your ass I'm going to be talking about that because that is a huge accomplishment.
Insane accomplishment.
So anyway, this song right here, it just had me daydreaming, man. Like it's just like,
Me too.
yeah, the vibes in it. It's
As
like,
soon, as soon as he says the first few words, "Once upon a yesterday," man, you just get lost. You
and
do.
it's
It gave me chills thinking about it.
mhm.
Like I was driving while I was listening. This song came on. I was like, oh, it has a really really good nostalgic feeling.
and
It does really well of that.
and that's what it's all about with this song. It's really Willie recounting the years, the things that he's done, the things that he's proud of. I love it. We were children working hard at play. Tomorrow was a world away. Time was standing still. The magic of the radio taught us songs we didn't know. We sang them loud and we sang them low. Once upon a yesterday. He's talking about Kitty Wells and Roy Rogers and Hank Williams. He
Yep.
talks about words swirling in his mind, melodies that fit the rhyme. Like it's just it's a voyage through Willie Nelson's time on the planet, in my opinion. And it's such a short song, really, to try to
It
wrap
is.
up all
Yeah.
of that man's memories. But man, it hits the spot, you know.
It really does. I'm always gonna want more, especially when it's a shorter song. But
Mm-hmm.
I think it's well put.
But I love that song again because it just like I found myself wanting to go to sleep, like just sit there and listen and reminisce and feel the old times and
Yeah.
think about the things of yesteryear. And the older you get, the more I feel like the more you have to make time for that. You know, you may not
Mhm.
understand that quite yet, but I am beginning to for sure.
Well, I love getting nostalgic and just I'm that kind of person. I love thinking about the past. I really do. All the bad, all the good. I It's something good to learn from, and there's no harm looking back on it. Just don't.
Yep.
That's all.
Track number 3 is a song called "What If I'm Out of My Mind." I love this
I
song
love it.
so much.
I love it.
Second of 4 on the record between Willie and Buddy Cannon. This is also the first upbeat song on the record. It's I like this record because it's pretty clear to me as a listener that the focal point of this song was the piano and the steel guitar, which are masterful in this song. Um, and then you start listening to the lyrics. Now, for me, I feel like there's extra gravel in his voice for this song.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's because it was difficult for him to sing the up tempo version or
Well,
whatever.
I don't know if it's necessarily that because he did the other one pretty good, but I think it maybe just could be a stylistic thing.
Could
I
be.
mean,
You might be right.
it sounds like it to me, but I'm
No,
also not naive.
I did start to laugh a little bit in this song because he's singing about being in love and being crazy, crazy in love, and somehow him being 91 years old and hearing that come out of his voice did not creep me out. But I
No.
was thinking about it. You know what? This should be creeping me out, and I started to get a little chuckle about that. Like this man
I
is 91 years old.
sing about love, but I mean, it's just he is just okay. Know him or not, I had the beautiful opportunity of seeing him in concert in 2017,
Nice.
and man, I'll
I'm
never forget
jealous.
that.
I'm
Oh yeah,
jealous.
I got to see David Allen Coe too, but that's a different story. But I everything about that man just like mystifies me. And
Nice.
I'm not huge on country. Sorry everybody for the disappointment, but man, there's something about Willie. And even
I
if you don't
mean,
know,
Willie
he's
Nelson
just such
he transcends genre anyway. To be fair,
yeah. He transcends like everything.
I
Like
agree.
you can't Willie Nelson and Snoop Dogg, you cannot hate them. There's no way.
It's
Like
true.
what?
It's true. All right, let's see here. Fourth song on the record. And this one was co-written by a friend of mine, somebody that I
This one's
know.
my favorite.
Okay, awesome. So this one is called I Wrote This Song for You. This is written by Larry Cordy and Erin Enderlin. Now, Erin Enderlin is a former guest on my podcast. I've actually interviewed her. She's
That's
a
pretty cool.
phenomenal writer. Probably most well known for writing the song Monday Morning Church by Alan Jackson. She's written a ton of great songs. She's done co-writes with Heather Little. She's done co-writes with Kayla Ray and a bunch of other folks. Just a phenomenal, phenomenal songwriter. And I personally really, really hope they choose this song for a single, just because I want to see her succeed more.
Yeah.
But
I love it. I mean, this is another one that gives the same thing as like Once Upon Yesterday. Like it gives you that just like warm, fuzzy feeling. Not necessarily fuzzy, but like you're being wrapped in a blanket. Like
mhm.
whether however you take this song, whether it's in a good way or a sad way, I feel like both are pretty like
And
it can
funny
go
you
kind of
say
either
that
way.
because I think of all the songs on the record, I think this is the one that really showcases Willie's ability to make you feel.
Yeah,
Now he does
I
that
agree.
throughout the record, but I think this song in particular is the one where that really shines through. Like you
Yeah.
said, you can feel happy, you can feel sad, you can. There's all kinds of ways you
It
can. Just depends on
it's
what your
comforting.
situation is. Yes.
It brings for me, it brings a comforting like blanket around you when
Hmm.
you're crying, or
Yep.
whatever. And it feels like that nostalgic feeling too.
Hmm.
I don't know if
And
that's his voice bringing it or if it's
speaking
the
from
storytelling.
experience, Aaron Enderlin is absolutely masterful in telling a story with pen. And then you
Yeah.
bring Willie's absolute
Voice.
grace and vocals and know-how in
Mhm.
how to deliver a lyric. Man, and like I said earlier, to have a song chosen by Willie
By
Nelson,
Willie freaking
one of
Nelson.
the best songwriters of this or any other generation, to have him choose your song for his record when he could have chosen one of his own says a
Mhm.
whole hell of a lot.
Absolutely.
Fifth song on the
Absolutely.
record is called Kiss Me When You're Through. And
I
this
like this
is
one too.
this is the third of four Willie Buddy Cannon collabs. And I think this is my favorite of the four that they wrote for
I
this
like it
one.
a lot.
Which is funny for me because I'm not a huge fan of the harmonica, and that's really heavily showcased in this song.
It did.
And the Latin guitar, which I am a fan of, I like that quite a bit.
It caught me off guard when I started. I was like, "What?"
And all the songs on the record, I think this is probably the one that is the most timeless of all the songs
Yeah,
on the record.
I agree with that too.
Yeah, I think this is the one that 50 years from now, people will be listening to it and still digging it, still understanding it because um, I was just talking to Joe Doyle for an
Hmm.
interview, which is not out yet. Yeah, it's not out yet, and we talked about the relevancy of a song and making sure that when you write a song, that the most people can feel some kind of connection to the song.
Hmm.
And of all the songs on this record, I think this is the one that will connect to the most people.
Yeah,
Typically, that usually means it will not be a single.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
Unfortunately,
it's a song
I
about
like this one a
longing.
lot. I really do like this one a lot. It gives a different feeling than the rest, but I don't necessarily. I don't. It's a weird kind of vibe this one gives you, and that's in a good way. But I love it. I love it so much. The music, his voice, everything, the lyrics, all of it.
Yeah, it's just like we said at the beginning of the review. There is literally not a bad song on this record,
Correct.
and it's Willie Nelson, and that's the way it should be. Next song on the list is "Many a Long and Lonesome Highway." Again, another Rodney Crowell co-write. But here I'm going to give some flowers to somebody who is not as well known as he should be. So yeah, I'm talking about, of course, a guy by the name of Will Jennings. Now, if you're a songwriter nerd, you know who Will Jennings is. But if you're not, then you're fitting to, because again, this is I want this to be as educational as possible. Now, if you are from the small town of Kilgore, Texas, perhaps you don't even know who Will Jennings is. But Will Jennings is from the town of Kilgore, and he wrote a couple of small time songs, like Tears in Heaven by Eric Clapton. He wrote the lyrics for My Heart Will Go On, which is, of course, one of the most well known songs ever. And he and Rodney Crowell are the co-writers on this Many a Long and Lonesome Highway, from Willie Nelson.
This song, it just gives me chills.
And this is the one I was talking about earlier, where you said, if this is the last record that Willie does, for whatever reason, whether it's because he wants to stop or, God forbid, something worse, this song right here is the one that we will hopefully all remember, because this feels like the story from a man who wants the world to know.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? It feels like a farewell to the world. It's got the sage advice in there that Willie likes to sprinkle throughout his music. It's got remembrances. I think my favorite lyric in the song is, every night's a new beginning. Every day the world keeps spinning. Sometimes it's hard to stand upon, I know.
Again, his voice and his storytelling, this song, I mean, it gave me chills. Like, I listened to it a couple times, like, over and over. I'm getting chills just thinking about it.
Same.
I really hope it's not foretelling by any means, but I can't think, like, being in his shoes at his age, sitting down and writing this song. I can't imagine that kind of feeling.
Well, he didn't write this song, though. Let's keep that in mind.
I meant sing it. Like, sitting down and, like, singing it and recording it.
I'll tell you the truth. If I had the opportunity ever to interview Willie Nelson, it would never happen. That's the holy grail, right? But if I had the opportunity, this is the song I would want to talk to him about the most.
Absolutely.
And it's not written by him, but I would love to hear why he chose this song. I would love to hear how he feels about it.
It really feels like it's written for him.
Yeah.
It just does.
It's funny because there is a song on the record called I Wrote This Song for You. All right, next song on the record, we got Hank's Guitar. Now, this one was the closest one for me to dislike. I don't dislike the song, but if I had to choose one, if somebody said to me, you have to not like one song on the record, this would be the closest one. And I'll tell you why. I'm not a big fan of scenarios that would never happen.
Yep.
But I'm also impressed by the song because it's an interesting scenario. And so this song was written by Buddy Cannon, but not Willie Nelson. The co-write on this was Bobby Tomberlin, who, again, if you're a songwriting nerd, oh man, there's just so many good songwriters on this record, not named Willie Nelson. Bobby Tomberlin, a little bit of a background on him because I promised that to you guys as part of this episode. Bobby Tomberlin was actually discovered by Mel Tillis. See what I did there? I know.
That's not nice.
So I would say it was probably not. I would say his biggest hit was One More Day by Diamond Rio. If you remember that song. He also wrote Someday It'll All Make Sense, which was a Grammy-nominated duet between Dolly Parton and Whisper and Bill Anderson. A lot of other songs that he wrote out there. Just some of the credits that man has is incredible. And he's still a young guy, to be honest with you. I mean, he's not super old, but
I get why you say that. I will say, once you have the general idea, not that the lyrics are low-hanging fruit.
Not at all.
But it seems like once you come up with the idea, like the I had a dream I was Hank's guitar, like the other lyrics just like fall on the paper. You know what I
I
mean?
mean, the song it progresses well. I like the song. I like
Absolutely.
the lyrics. It's just again,
It doesn't feel like it equates.
if I had to choose, this would be the one that I would choose. Um, I just think it's my least favorite song on the record, but I like the song. I mean, I really like the song. It's a great
I
tune.
think that's my problem is that I don't feel like it equates to the rest. It is a great song. It's just
Yeah,
out of everything, like everything I've this album, I feel like we talked about, Taylor Swift being, like changing the world and Billie Eilish. This album, I mean, unfortunately, with his age, I feel like it'll go unseen by a lot of people. But this album, I mean, should be known by everybody. It
absolutely.
really should.
Just a little bit about the song before we go to the next one, which also has some crazy songwriters on the golly. But yeah, Willie takes us through a dream where he is the guitar of Hank Williams. And it is absolutely the absolute countryest of country songs. You got it when you listen to the song. The first thing you're gonna say is, "Damn, that's country." It's as usual. It's masterful storytelling by a legend. At that, and the thing that I really the note I made was, to me, it is absolutely crazy and amazing the skill that is needed to get someone invested in a song that is basically about a nonsense scenario. And I don't say that with disrespect. It's a dream. It's a dream where you're essentially the guitar and you're making up metaphors and similes and stuff like that, and yet you still get invested in it. I
Yep,
mean, that's incredibly talented. Um,
absolutely, I agree.
Next song is number 8. It's called "Made in Texas."
I love the music.
Now, of course you do. You're made in Texas.
Hey, calm it down on that.
This right here is an ode to Bob Wills. It's an ode to Texas swing. It is an ode to Texas in general. This song right here is Texan through and through, and that's obviously what is meant by this entire record, is to
Yeah,
showcase Willie's home state. This here talks about old guitars, Bob Wills, the San Antonio Rose, dance halls, Lone Star beer, Stetson hats, Ernest Tubb, um, and all of those things are unapologetically Texan, including Willie Nelson. Song was written by Sean Camp and Monty Holmes. Golly,
so
man.
I I like this one a lot too. I feel like what he has so much to say. I feel like it does such a good job of capturing Texas. I really do, and it's fun. It's got that swing in it. Like you put, I just stole those words straight out of your document. Um, no,
She's
but they
stealing
for
my
real.
stuff.
It kind of gives me like deep in the heart of Texas
Yep.
kind of vibes.
Texas Anthem. And that's exactly what I wrote in the doc. Absolutely. So many people out there have tried for the Texas Anthem and failed. This one does not fail. A little bit of background on Sean Camp. He is known probably best for Two Pina Coladas by Garth Brooks. I do believe, I could be wrong, and maybe you guys can correct me if I am, but I thought he had writing credits on. No, I would be wrong. I'm not going to say that. Okay. And of course, the other co writer on this song is Monty Holmes. And Monty Holmes wrote so many frickin' songs for George Strait that I can't even tell you, including Troubadour, by the way. This is, let's see here. What I like about this song for me is like a lot of times when I'm listening to a song for the first time, I'll just close my eyes and
Mhm.
start just seeing what I see. And for me, I felt like I was on a dance floor. You know,
Yeah.
like I could feel it, I could hear it, I could smell it. Like the dance floor has a certain smell to it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You know, and that's what this song took me back to. And of
Yeah.
course, you know, my father-in-law was into Texas swing. He was a steel player, and So played with Bob Wills and things like that. So yeah, that's.
I remember country dancing.
Oh yeah, back when you were country.
Yeah.
You damn sure still
Charlotte.
sound country.
I know.
All right, so the next one is number 9, and this is my favorite song on the record. I know that yours was.
It's close.
So this one is called Nobody Knows Me Like You, written by a man by the name of Mike Reed. Again, another very interesting individual. Mike Reed used to play in the NFL for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, when you're talking about songwriting, you don't normally think of a football player, but this is a true story. Former professional football player.
That's supposed to be 2 different sides of your brain.
Exactly right. Mike Reed is probably most well known for songs like Stranger in My House by Ronnie Millsap. He also wrote I Can't Make You Love Me by Bonnie Raitt.
Turn down the light. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is from the perspective of someone who knows that they don't deserve their partner. It talks about regrets. And the line in this song that really makes me feel it with every fiber of my being is, but something only you can see saves the broken fool in me with a love that's known to very few. I literally live that lyric every single day of my marriage, every day.
I was driving, and I just had the whole album playing. And when I heard that line, I immediately was like I heard that line just popped out to me out of the whole song. And I was like, oh my God.
It's just
you said I didn't read ahead. I like to hear what you have to say. But I saw that quote and I was like, man, I think that's the one that I was like, because I remember the broken fool in me. And because it's not, I teach this to my students with different things, but the first part, but something only you can see saves the broken fool in me. That's amazing. But when you add with a love that's known to very few, that gives the whole phrase such a, not a new meaning, but such a more meaningful description of it. And that right there,
it slams it home. It slams it home.
Exactly. That tiny little difference, just adding those last few words, man, it does.
This song, man, it's just so good. It's so good. Because, and the only thing that worries me about this song is we talked about relevancy earlier.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the love that he's talking about, which again, he says it's known to very few, unfortunately is very true. The marriage that I have with my wife, it took me damn near all my life to finally find it. And so when you are in that situation, you know it. Believe me, you know it. And I think we're both lucky in that aspect. We both know it. And I don't know about you, but I know I don't deserve what I have. And so every single day I strive to try to deserve it more and more and more. And I just don't ever feel like I'd live up to that bar, you know? And that's not a bad thing at all.
Not at all. That means you're constantly working on you and your relationship.
Exactly right. And that's why I love this song, because for those of us that have been lucky and blessed enough to find that love, this song, man, it's powerful. Because you're like, you and me, we are living this song every day. And that's a very lucky place to be.
Yeah.
You know, for sure. And that's the only thing I'm worried about, relevancy. People that don't have this kind of relationship are not going to get this song. But at the same time, they're going to long for this song. So maybe that's a good thing. The longing for it. You know?
Maybe so.
Last song on the record. This is also the last Willie Nelson Buddy Cannon collab on the record. And this is so funny to me because we're all creative people. This song's called How Much Does It Cost? And it literally talks about the pains of being a songwriter.
Yep.
It's so funny to me. Because there is some funny lyrics in here. But you don't know exactly where he's going at first. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
with the
Yeah.
song.
When it started, I thought it was going to be like a super depressing song.
Me too, but then he
You
starts
know?
making jokes and shit, and I'm just like, wait a minute, what? Um, that's not the right song. Hold on a second. I don't know why it's giving me that song. That's so weird. There it is.
Boom, dirty.
But yeah, it starts off where it sounds like he's talking about an old relationship, and he's not. He's talking about he's talking about how much does it cost to be free from the heartache still living in me, and you're just like, wait a minute. All right, we're talking about a lost love song. This is a country song.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, here's another one that's gonna be like tied with my favorite because
Depressing and all that. Yep.
I'm a big sucker on depressing songs.
Oh, but it's not. It's so funny
Yep.
where he goes. Again, he says, I've given my heart, my soul, and my mind. You're still on the same track. Oh my God, he's broken up. His wife left him. His love died. Something happened really bad. How can I pay up and quit doing time? We're still on the same track. It could still mean relationship. And why am I always trying to make it all rhyme? Wait, what?
I know, I heard that and I was like, wait, what? I was like, if that's a metaphor, that's not really a great one.
Because I'm a songwriter and always will be. But how much does it cost to be free?
Mm-hmm.
So, an interesting perspective into the mind of a songwriter who is always taking in inspiration, is always feeling something, always looking for the next hook, always looking for the next heartache, the next soul, the next heart, the next mind, the next whatever. And really kind of showcases a different side to that creative process. The possibility of it being a detriment.
Yeah. I mean, look at Taylor Swift. No, I mean, no offense, but usually, you sit down to write songs as therapy a lot of times, unless it's just like what you do for a living. So a lot of times it comes from those awful points in your life or a shitty breakup or stuff like that. That's usually where, well, personally, and I know a lot of people are like that too.
So now the bridge
Uh,
in this song is a Woody Guthrie reference for you younger folks out there that might be tuning in. He says, Old Woody said, how much does all of this cost? I'll pay for it all. What the heck? And oh, by the way, take a check. So I believe this song, if I could ask him, I'd be willing to bet this whole song revolved around that bridge. I bet you they had the bridge first. And the
Probably.
reason why I think that is because literally the same verse is repeated 3 times in the song. Which
I like it.
which ordinarily if I heard a song and I heard the same verse 3 times, I
You're
would
like,
be
ugh.
I would be screaming lazy at the top of my lungs if it was anybody but Willie Nelson. But it makes
Yeah.
me believe that bridge there about Woody Guthrie is where this song came from. And the message in the 3 verses that are the same is probably the most important message in the song.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's why it's repeated, I feel.
Mm-hmm. And
Um,
that's what I hate. Like a lot of artists like will repeat something just because it's catchy or because they don't have anything else. But when it's like the thing that makes a statement, like what makes a song,
mhm.
repeat it. And I feel like that's done really well in this
And
song.
it's funny with this one, too, because it's the last song on the record, too. Because so,
Yeah.
as a consumer or listener, you could actually foresee that being a thing. Oh my gosh, we have 9 songs, we need a 10th.
Yeah.
Well, let's just slap something together. Like normally,
There you
you
go.
could look at this song and see it as that, but I feel like it's more than that. And if it was
I
slapped
agree.
together, wow, great job. Like seriously, because
Shit. Can I slap a song like that together?
please do. Could you send me one of those? Hell, I'll learn how to play guitar.
Send me a slap.
Yeah, right? So,
That's all
Katie
I
Lynn,
need.
if you could cover one song on this record in your show, which one would it be?
Mm. Let me scroll back through the titles. Man.
I put her on the
I
spot.
As much as I love Many a Long and Lonesome Highway, it's not for me. It's not from the voice of Katie, the youngin, or whatever. But man, I do love that. I mean, I wrote the song for you. I keep coming back to that one. I love that one so much. And I mean, but honestly, I'm a big nostalgic kind of person. Once Upon a Yesterday, man, I don't know. All the above. Shit.
I don't know. I'm not sure I could believe a story about a border agent from you, Katie. So I think we should.
No,
I mean, we could possibly make it work. So,
probably not.
in closing, I would say Willie Nelson's 152nd record before his 92nd birthday
That's super
ultimately
success.
will be ultimately a super success. I completely agree. Absolutely awesome, awesome record.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what kind of triggers me a little bit about anything Willie. I hate when people say for his age. Oh, he's a
Yes.
great writer for his age. Oh, he's a good singer for his age. No,
Singer that's maybe taken in a different context. And it's not for his age. It's just his beautiful voice got a little old. That's
that's
it.
right. Man, I'll tell
But
you what, I hope
songwriting,
I mean
that shit don't change.
I'm hoping I'm still making syllables at 97. I doubt I will be, or 91. I guess he's 91.
I'll be in the grave going.
You better not be making noises in the grave. Jesus Christ.
That's all I'll have at effing 92. Right in the grave.